Huge win for Donald Trump. Breaking news, everyone, right now. Major win on immigration. Take a look at this headline. Supreme Court allows Trump administration to end parole program for some migrants. 500,000 migrants from Cuba, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, from Venezuela. Guess what? That whole deal where they could come into the country and just renew every 2 years, that's getting wiped out, courtesy of the Supreme Court. A major decision, as I said, just released, hot off the presses right now. The unsigned order Friday comes for now after a lower court injunction that stopped the government from removing those protections under a parole program while the case proceeds. So the Biden administration had granted these temporary paroles to large groups of immigrants from these 4 countries if they met certain criteria, allowing them to seek work authorization and other legal protections for 2-year terms. Now, back in March, the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, came in and said, you know what, we don't really think this works. They canceled the mass parole approval program. And what you saw was the Trump administration ramping up its efforts to crack down on this mass immigration. So you have actually 532,000 non-citizens from those 4 countries, as I mentioned, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, that are affected according to these court filings. As expected, you had Justices Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sonia Sotomayor saying this is no good. They actually dissented publicly from the court's decision, Jackson writing that the consequences of allowing the administration to move forward and revoke the parole program's protections would be sharply disruptive to the people affected. Again, oh my gosh, we have to care so much about these people who are coming in illegally, and we need to care about them. And I think the Trump administration is saying, no. We actually need to care about us. We need to care about the people that are already in this country. And what the heck was he doing? 532,000 people? I mean, what was going on? Really? I mean, they really were trying to create that borderless society. I think it's pretty obvious. Stephen Miller just obliterated a CNN anchor, if you can call her that, on the program this morning. I got to show you this because he's got a certain magic about him. I mean, he knows the law inside and out, and he is so unafraid and just willing to call it as he sees it. Let's take a listen.
Do you think a judge should just rubber stamp what your White House does? If not, what checks and balances do you think should be in place for this White House?
It is not the job of a district court judge to perform an individual green light or red light on every single policy that the president takes as the head of the executive branch. Just think about the premise baked into your question, respectfully, Pam. You're saying that when the American people elect a president of the United States of America,
I'm not saying
well, it's the implication, who is the sole head of the executive branch. Well, let me finish. I will answer the question happily. But look, when you have these kinds of lazy assumptions built into questions, it makes it hard to have a constructive dialogue.
What is a lazy assumption? I said you all had to win.
You said no. You said, is it my expectation?
I'm speaking
because
now you're putting...
You said, is it my expectation? It's not just you. It's the whole media. In other words, when you hear a sentence like...
It is a completely fair question. You say judges who rule against the White House.
And I will gladly answer it. When you say, do we think district court judges should rubber stamp each action? There is a premise that is built into that is absurd. The president is the sole head of the executive branch. He's the only officer in the entire government that's elected by the entire American people. Democracy cannot function. In fact, democracy does not exist at all if each action the president takes, foreign policy, diplomatic, military, national security, has to be individually approved by 700 district court judges. That's democracy. So if there's 15 communist crazy judges on the court, that each of them as a team working together can block and freeze each and every executive action.
Right? Then you get a problem. And that's exactly what keeps coming up over and over again. So this was a small-time judge, right? A lower court injunction that had stopped the administration from trying to get rid of this parole program for 532,000 people that somehow Biden just waved a magic wand and said, come on in. Do not forget, again, the U.S. Constitution, the supremacy clause in the U.S. Constitution, which, by the way, was challenged in 2012 out in Arizona over the exact issue of immigration. And what was decided was that the federal government has full jurisdiction over who is in this country. And so you can do sanctuary cities all you want, but you know what? If the federal government decides to challenge it, as they are challenging it right now, it's game over. That's when the feds win. And so as a result of that, you now have the administration coming out, DHS, and saying we got 30 cities that are all sanctuary cities, and we're going to strip them of all federal funds because they are not cooperating with ICE. They are not adhering to the law. And so they will be defunded. Why are federal taxpayers paying for the support of people who are here in the country illegally while federal taxpayers elected the President of the United States to get rid of all this stuff? Here is, I'm telling you, it's like the Stephen Miller show today. For goodness sakes, he's great. I mean, he's always great, and he happened to do a lot of TV yesterday and today. So let's listen in.
A goal of a minimum of 3,000 arrests for ICE every day, and President Trump is going to keep pushing to get that number up higher each and every single day so we can get all of the Biden illegals that were flooded into our country for 4 years out of our country. And we can't take the risk of letting these Biden illegals roam around freely so that the next American daughter can get raped, the next American kid can get murdered, the next American family can get splintered and torn apart by people that came into this country unchecked, uncontrolled, unvetted, uninvited by the American people. As to the reconciliation bill, Sean, there's been so much said about how incredible the big, beautiful bill is. The largest tax cut and reform in American history. The most significant energy reform, unlocking American energy in American history. Deregulation like we have never seen before. The most significant, largest welfare reform in American history. But the bill also includes the complete fulfillment of President Trump's campaign promises on every aspect of immigration and homeland security so that we can have permanently the safest, strongest, most secure immigration system in American history, Sean.
Wow.
Right, so
okay.
secure the border.
So that was there on Hannity last night. As I said, he's been on the airwaves. He's very passionate about this issue. You had 4 years to think about it, guys. That was the problem, right? You know what? You allowed them all back in. And this is not the same administration that we saw before. No way, Jose. All right. Nashville versus the feds. Nashville, Tennessee, for some reason, is fighting this hard. You get Freddie O'Connell down there in Nashville, the mayor, who said he's going to do everything he can to protect the migrants. Again, I'm like, guys, you keep trying that, you're going to lose all your federal funding, and you yourself may actually find yourself in federal prison because you're obstructing the law. Supremacy clause, commerce clause, naturalization clause, you name it, it's all over the Constitution. So anyway, the feds did raid this construction site in Nashville, Tennessee today, and this just came into us. Apparently there were some illegal migrants working there, so they mean business. They're very, very serious about this, and so they are going after the people there. Now they have the Supreme Court allowing for them to deport people, 532,000 non-cities from the 4 countries, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, that the previous administration, Joe Biden, was somehow given a green light to. It's all coming as the representative from that area in Nashville, Tennessee, Representative Ogles, Andy Ogles, says he's launching an investigation into the mayor because they don't understand how it is that the mayor can be using federal funds to allow for all this illegal migration to continue.
I will always stand on the rule of law and with ICE. And I don't just stand with ICE, I'll stand in front of ICE. Because we, the people, have had enough. I choose my community, my state, and my family over this type of nonsense. Which is why, due to the remarks of Freddie O'Connell and the potential for aiding and abetting illegal immigration, the Homeland Security and the Judiciary Committees will be conducting an investigation into the mayor of Nashville, his conduct, and whether or not federal dollars have been used in criminal enterprise. I will not back down. I will not relent, and I will always stand with law enforcement. I want my community and I want my country back. This is Andy Ogles. Thank you for being here.
Just amazing. Just amazing. Andy Ogles, again, a pretty impressive, passionate commentary from him. I just want to say thanks to Trace, one of our viewers here, for your generosity and for your kind words, and importantly, for your service. He is a Marine Corps vet. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for saying congratulations on 800,000. I'm just blown away because we are one of the top, think of all the podcasts in the world, right? Top 100 podcasts on all of YouTube. So that is thanks to you guys. We're beating out The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. I think we beat Ben Shapiro, who I love. But by the way, that's kind of an accomplishment because I think he has 8 million subs. We only get 813,000. So we're growing, and we're going to keep it up. 30 sanctuary cities going to be defunded by DHS, and this is turning into a major ordeal, okay? So impressive what we've seen thus far, if you would, from, they call her Ice Barbie, and that's meant to be derogatory, but I actually see it as a compliment because she's so pretty. Kristi Noem I'm talking about. She's so pretty that the joke is people are like, oh, wait, I just want to get, I want to pretend I'm a migrant and get arrested by Kristi Noem. Anyway, she's taking it on in a really, really, really big way. Nashville, watch out. New York City, watch out. Boston, watch out. Los Angeles, watch out. I can go on and on and on. Another big story that is in the news today, the liberal media reporting that a migrant has been framed and that it is not fair because DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, again, Kristi Noem's beat, they are coming out and saying that this illegal migrant threatened the life of the president and did so in a letter. And so now they are going after this illegal migrant. And they're saying this isn't fair, that actually he's being framed. I want you to hear Miller's response. I told you the Miller show today. My goodness, it is Miller time. All right, here he is. I think this one's on CNN. You get the CNN host very inarticulately trying to defend here this migrant. And he's like, I'm sorry. You had me at illegal.
Undocumented migrant sent a letter threatening to kill the president, promising to self-deport after the assassination. CNN reporting shows that investigators believe the migrant was set up. It was a victim of a setup. What is the administration going to do now? And this is an undocumented immigrant. I do want to note that, but this was someone who came forward, was a victim of a crime, and now law enforcement believes he was set up. Go ahead.
Well, I want to clarify what you mean, so we're talking about the same thing. Are you saying this immigrant was here illegally?
Yes, but I am, and that's why I said that. I clarified that.
You said undocumented, and I wasn't clear what that means. I'm assuming they have a fake ID. I'm assuming they have a fake social security number.
That's neither here nor there. That's getting away from the question,
country.
Stephen. I want this to be, and call me naive, a good faith discussion about what's happening right now.
But when we use language that's designed to obscure the truth, that's not good faith.
All right,
an illegal alien is an illegal alien. They're not an undocumented migrant.
Okay, that's fine. That's another discussion for another day.
I don't know the details of the assassination threat. All I can say, based on what you're telling me, is there's an illegal alien in our country who's making menacing threats. Regardless of the facts or circumstances, we don't want him here. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and I would gladly come back on when I have more information to share with you.
They were set up, just to be clear. But quickly, where is the White House on habeas corpus? The illegal alien was treated unfairly. Yes, I'm sure the illegal alien was treated very unfairly. Where is?
But I think his point is he's here illegally. So if you're here illegally, you're here illegally. It's kind of hard to get beyond that, right? That's the elephant in the room. And this is what happened with the Garcia thing. Okay, so apparently he's wrongly deported, but you heard Miller on that one. He's like, he's really not wrongly deported because he was deported because he was believed to be involved in a very serious criminal organization, MS-13. And so as a result, you're going to send him out. What do you expect us to do? Roll over backwards and say, we want to do everything we can for you, to help you, to rehabilitate you. I guess. Why else was Biden saying 532,000 non-citizens from 4 countries could come into this country via this parole program? A parole program that now the Supreme Court is allowing the Trump administration to get rid of. Huge news today.